Well, hello everyone, I'm Postmaster Radio, and once again, it is time to bring on the funny! Hey guys, welcome back to Ujokes Weekly, the official podcast highlighting Jonathan Mangum's virtual comedy show Ujokes, where comedians and audience members on YouTube and Facebook compete for the best joke. It is comedy gold at your fingertips, and today we're counting down my top 5 favorite jokes from last week's Ujokeshow, featuring comedians Bill Chott and JohnLehr. And don't forget, guys, keep listening until the end of the podcast, because not only do we have the Ujokes Awards coming up for additional highlights from last week, but we also need to talk about another very annoying but totally understandable Ujokes hiatus, so keep sticking around for that. Oh, and before we get started, a couple of quick notes. First, to those of you wondering what kept me from recapping last week's Ujokeshow, well, last week, at the end of October, sorry for the wait. I was unfortunately a little bit busy going into the last couple of days of the month, especially since, it was almost Halloween at that time. But hey, I hope the wait was worth it. Also, if you missed the Ujokes 50th episode celebration, catch up now via the podcast link in the description. And as usual, to continuing listeners and brand new ones, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to Ujokes Weekly. It really means a lot. And now, without further ado, let's get started with the Ujokes Top 5 countdown, shall we? Now, spot number 5, this is going to go to the last show's best guy. You know how with Ujokes, not everyone can compete live, so they submit jokes after the initial live airing of said show for a potential chance to be invited onto the next Ujokes show and to play live in the final round. Yeah, I know, totally a long explanation, but it's also my way of congratulating Kevin Westman, who was invited to play against John and Bill in the final game of the night, Happy Hour. Now, that is another story for another day. We won't go into that game right now, but why Kevin made the Ujokes Top 5 countdown is because of the joke that he had submitted. And this was going back to the Ujokes 50th episode for the game Yoga to Be Crazy with the yoga pig, with the lady who appears to be farting while doing yoga at the same time. I dare say that is the rare form of foga. His joke, though, Kevin's joke was better. Downward Dutch oven. Yeah, exactly. So much better. So, bravissimo to Kevin for that joke. The 4th spot on the Ujokes countdown is going to go to Bill Chott. And oh my god, I know this probably isn't the case for all of you, but seeing Bill on Ujokes brought me a bunch of nostalgia from his time on Disney Channel's Wizards of Waverlyplace. So many memories. And you know what? He did a really good job last week, specifically though because of a new game that debuted last week. And I guess, yeah, Jonathan has a point. This would definitely be the season 3 premiere of Ujokes. I mean, you could probably tell by the new graphics, the new games. By the way, Jonathan, if you're listening to this, it is official. I think your new graphics for the Ujokes show are officially better than the graphics for my podcast on your show. LOL. Okay, but anyway, on to Bill's joke. So the new game that I'm referring to, Ruineddate. And in this game, based on the picture shown, Bill had to come up with either the guy or the girl for the picture of them huddling under a blanket, eating toast and drinking tea. What one of them may have said that ultimately ruined the date. And Bill's joke, gotta say, it was a pretty good one.
How about, hey, I solved that problem with the yeast shortage.
Yeah, that ought to muck up any sort of date and make it completely awkward. Oh boy, great job, Bill. For the 3rd spot on the countdown, it's time to give it to the audience. Yeah, if for any of you that have never played Ujokes live, you'd be pretty surprised as to how often everyone on YouTube and Facebook just dominates in some shows. And Patrick Luce from Facebook is no exception. From the game Namethemovie, and for the picture of a squirrel fighting a wrestler, Patrick's joke was UFC Ultimate Furry Challenge. Yeah, some good stuff you got there, Patrick. And now as we go to the top 2 spots on the Ujokes countdown, they are both for the one and only comedian whose initials are JL. Jonathanmangum, who is Jonathan Mangum's cousin, but with an L. No, I'm just kidding. Of course, I'm talking about JohnLehr. And for spot number 2 on the countdown, this is for one of my favorite games, What's It Mean, for the fake, totally not real word, Bibjig.
I have it slang for Bible jiggle. It's when you hold a Bible awkwardly in front of a church backwards and upside down.
Yeah, gotta say, pretty good joke. But John really nailed this joke from later in the game, later in the show. Spot number 1 on the Ujokes countdown. This is for a brand new game, another new game, Dream Interpretation. Yeah, it sounds sort of mysterious in my calming, dream-like voice, until it sounds like a nightmare. Okay, but enough dream and nightmare talk. Seriously though, for Dream Interpretation, basically the picture that John and Bill and the others had, it showed a bunch of Winnie the Poohs just walking around in the city. Now, this is where John comes in to explain what exactly, if someone was sleeping in the middle of the night and that image popped into their head, what do you think it would mean? Tough to say, right? But for those of you that have Disney on the brain, you'd kind of be sort of spot on with John's joke.
It means that you're worried that Disney Plus is going to make their own version of Walking Dead.
Yeah! Woo! Even if you don't win, I am giving you a point for that joke. That is good stuff.
Also, I can't help but think, oh my god, John's Walking Dead joke is so incredibly well timed, because of course this was streamed live on October 26th, and it was a few days before Halloween, so you know what, a very timely joke, and yeah, just my favorite joke from the night, so congratulations, John. You did a great job last week on Ujokes, and with that being said, it is time now for the Ujokes Awards, which is basically like the Oscars, only much, much shorter. First up is Comedian of the Week, and no offense to Bill Chott's amazing joke from Ruineddate. Sorry, Bill, you will always be my favorite principal from Disney's Wizards of Waverly Place, but John Lehr is the winner. You are the Comedian of the Week, and for Game of the Week, 2 very great new games, Ruineddate in a close second, but the top prize goes to Dream Interpretation. And following that, we have the Audience Award for the best joke to come from anyone on the YouTube or Facebook chat. As long as Jonathan's producer Josh picks your joke, you are in the running for it regardless. And shout out once again to Patrick Luce for the UFC joke going back to Name the Movie. And as for Mangum Moment, well, let's just say that Jonathan really hit the jackpot with this bit of his.
No matter what happens, I can leave with my self-respect.
See? And you might win the big prize.
Oh, awesome. What is the big prize?
It's a $100 million today. Just today.
What?
Normally it's 10,000. Today it's 100 million.
I would have worked. Oh my god. Okay,
don't get excited.
Sure. Why don't we just give the win to Bill and then he and I can split it?
Oh, that's the FCC's rules. And I know. I do game shows.
Now, if only that kind of a prize was held out for pretty much the audience members that just submit a joke on Ujokes. Wouldn't we live in a perfect world like that? Haha. Okay, so that's that for the Ujokes Awards. We are almost done with this week's Ujokes podcast, but first, we have one final bit of business. So as I'm sure most of you know already, Ujokes is now on a new schedule. Episodes will still be at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, 9 Eastern, but instead of twice a week on Tuesdays and Fridays, it will instead be once a week on Mondays. And that, of course, proved the case with John and Bill's show last week. There was no new Ujokes show yesterday, and for good reason. For those of you that missed Jonathan's update video from the Ujokes YouTube channel, don't worry, I will leave you a link to it in the description. But long story short, in addition to taping new episodes of Let's Make a Deal, which is the whole reason for the new schedule in the first place, Jonathan now has a second job, a temporary job at that, but nonetheless a second job. And because of this temporary job, Ujokes has to go on hiatus once again, basically for the rest of the month. So we won't be back with Ujokes until November 30th. It is a bit of a long wait. I'm cool with it. It'll make me love the show even more, to be honest. Like, more than I already do, which is already a lot. And normally this would mean that the Ujokes podcast would be back in December, probably on Tuesday the 1st of that month. But we're actually going to come back with a special edition of Ujokes Weekly just a bit early. So stay tuned on Tuesday, November 24th, because Since John and Bill's show technically marks the beginning of a new season of Ujokes, I thought that I'd take a look back at episodes 21 through 50, aka all of the Ujokes shows from what Jonathan would probably call season 2 of Ujokes. And you know what I'll be doing? I'll be reflecting back on 10 of my favorite jokes from that batch of 30 Ujokes shows. Yeah, I know, a lot of shows to consider from. We'll be discussing 10 of my favorite jokes, 5 from different comedians, and 5 from different audience members, obviously excluding my own jokes. That's going to be a special Ujokes event you don't want to miss. It's coming up on Tuesday, November 24th. But anyway, with that being said, folks, that's all the time we have this week on Ujokes Weekly. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Until next time, be sure to stay connected with me on Spreaker, Spotify, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. You know the drill. The account links are all in the description. Thanks again for listening, and, well, bye for now. See ya!